topic of the day is tenant eviction process. So very quickly, Mr. Fadipe, what are the grounds for evicting the tenants?
Okay, so for a landlord to want to evict a tenant, there has to be certain grounds before such landlord evicts tenant. One of which is the fact that the tenant has breached certain terms and conditions in the tenancy agreement. Do not do this, do not sublet. If a tenant does all of that, the landlord can evict. I mean, you can, send necessary notice and evict. That is one. Then the other one is that a landlord probably wants to renovate his apartment and maybe he wants to even sell it and all of that. So that renovation is a ground, renovation of your apartment and the fact that maybe you want to increase your rent, but that's not going to be included in tenancy, in the notice. But the fact that you want to renovate, yes, is a good ground. And also, if there are arrears of rent, if a tenant has not paid certain amount that he's supposed to pay his rent, then that can also form a ground for eviction. So those three major grounds would form eviction.
Very key. Okay, I know when you talk about the termination of tenancy, it means the expiration of that tenancy, and it could be by way of a fluxion of the period of the time, and could be also by serving of notices. Now let's go straight to issue of notice. I don't want to bore us with what are the definition and all that. What are the statutory notices that we have in Nigeria?
Yeah, first off, it's important to know that if a landlord would evict a tenant for any reason, it has to be that you will go through the due process, which is issue 6-month notice to quit, right, to the tenant. And in a situation where you fail to issue such 6-month notice to quit, because there are circumstances also that do not warrant that you necessarily give 6 months notice to quit, you can only give 7 days. But first off, it is important because even practically, a lot of our judges in court would enforce that still give 6-month notice to quit at least before you can proceed to court. But then, after 6-month notice to quit, before you proceed to court, there is another notice, which is notice of intention. The fact that, okay, we have given you 6 months, the 6 months has gone. Now we want to give you 7 days. That 7 days will show you. It's like intention that we now want to go to court. So put your house in order because you are going to be evicted. So those two notices are important before one approaches the court. Otherwise, whatever eviction you do will be illegal or kangaroo or something like that. Yeah, so those two notices.
Which also amount to trespass.
Absolutely, on the part of the
on the issue of the landlord coming into the property of that tenant during the tenancy period. That point that you've paid is all yours.
Yes.
But there's exceptions that the landlord might need to come in.
Of course.
Now, I don't want us also again to bore us with, okay, for the purpose of inspection and all that. There's usually a problem when it's the case of abandonment or abscond. How can a landlord recover such possession?
Okay, in a situation where a property has been totally abandoned, maybe for a while or so, you approach the court. A landlord would not still boot the door open and say, hey, nobody's here. You approach the court with necessary notice. In that case, it's not going to be 6 months notice. You just do 7 days. And that 7 days, because there's nobody to serve, just paste it on the property, right? So that when it comes around, or it's presumed that at least you are nowhere to be found. That's why we have pasted it. So after that, you now proceed to court, all right? Applying that such property which is locked up be open for you to, and the court will be in possession of the property which have been packed out from the premise.
Okay, so very clear. I think we have less than 5 minutes. Just give us a typical eviction process. Just very short.
Yes, basically after giving such notice, you now go to court. Now when you get to court, they would ask certain questions, or basically because you want to get a tenant out of the apartment. There could be certain things the tenant have doing, or the fact that the tenant doesn't have money and all that. The court still has human face also, so the court will consider that, okay, what do you want to do? This person needs his house. Do you need more time? Are you willing to pay this? Is it that you don't want to pay because there are people who actually owed back from paying rent because of malice, maybe because they have beef with landlord and all of that? So the court will just try and ensure that there are no such elements in the matter. And of course the landlord or his attorney or somebody who is representing him, yes, will enter the witness box and speak and say everything that they claim, you know, in the process. And at the end of the day, the court will give an order that the court will either say, okay, maybe you should give more time within this period by himself, because they will ask the tenant, okay, how long or what do you want, like when are you going to be able to leave the premises? If it is reasonable, the court will accept and say, okay, let's give this man 1 month. So there will now be an adjournment. With that time, the tenant will be expected to, you know, hands off the property, or yes, an eviction process. And if after the eviction court makes the pronouncement of the eviction, the tenant still doesn't leave, then that's when you can levy execution, and the court people will come and do the packing of things to their premises and all of that.
Let's also mention very quickly, most people believe that 6 months is all theirs, like they don't have to pay for it or something. Though I don't want us to also again go into when that 6 months is appropriate. Because at the expiration of your rent, you don't even get, most people have argued that, and I know of a Supreme Court judgment that says you're not even entitled to any of that 6 months. But in the event of going to court and all of that, and that period you didn't pay, is the landlord entitled to some form of money?
Yes, absolutely. It's called main profit. Now, when I'll give you 6 months. It's either I give you 6 months during the validity of your during the subsistence of your tenancy. Like if your tenancy is from January to December, if I decide to give you 6 months, which ends by December, that means immediately when I'm giving you 7 days by January next year, I'm giving you 7 days and I could go to court. But there are situations where, like, there was an issue in one of the properties that I manage, that I was about to start managing, and the tenant said that he's not owing any rent while giving him 6 months. That 6 month notice to quit is supposed to come after. Yeah, the 6 month notice to quit is supposed to come after is 1 year. And it's supposed to be a free period, grace that we not pay for. So it's a misconception. 6 month period still has to be paid for, except you just want to waive it.
Okay, so 6 month period or any other period that you have enjoyed after the eviction must be paid for and is in the form of men's profit.